Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the New Testament and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Revelation, chapter 20. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain, and he seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the pit, and shut it, and sealed it over him, so that he might not deceive the nations any longer, until 1,000 years were ended. After that he must be released for a little while. Then I saw thrones, and seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. And I also saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received its mark on their foreheads or their hands. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is the one who shares in the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power, but they will be priests of God and Christ, and they will reign with him for 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are ended, Satan will be released from his prison, and will come out to deceive the nations that are at the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them for battle. Their number is like the sand of the sea. And they marched up over the broad plains of the earth and surrounded the camp of the saints in the beloved city. But fire came down from heaven and consumed them. And the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, and where the beast and the false prophet were, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Then I saw the great white throne, and him who was seated on it. From his presence the earth and sky fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and the books were opened. And then another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged by what was written in the books, according to what they had done. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one of them, according to what they had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. One thought. Revelation 20 begins the final cycle of 7 visions, and Revelation 20 is also one of the most debated chapters in this book, and maybe even all of the Bible. And most of the debate centers on what is meant by the 1,000 years mentioned in this chapter. You know, some Christians see this 1,000 years as a future reality, that Jesus will one day rule literally on this sin-filled earth for 1,000 years, and then there will be the final battle and then eternity. Others see this 1,000 years as a symbolic description of the church age. So from one angle, Satan is the god of this world, right? He is still wreaking havoc. From another angle, the gospel is moving forward in this world, and he is bound. The symbolic view is something that I resonate with, as you could probably have told from how I have generally been reading this book. But, let's not lose the plot or the point. No matter what your view is, the plot and the point of this chapter comes at the end, which is those names which are not written in the book of life are thrown into the lake of fire, right? That there's one day a final judgment that's coming. What I find really interesting at the end, this judgment before the great white throne, is that it routinely talks about the dead being judged in books, right? And I think, again, this is just me reading between the lines a little bit. I think the dead here refers to unbelievers, because the dead are being judged by what is done. But we see these little hints here, right? It's like the books were opened, but then there's this other book that's open, the book of life. So I think what's going on here is that the dead are being judged by the Lord and cast into the lake of fire, but this other book is opened, and that is the book that has all the names of believers in it, right? And so this book of life is where we want our names to be. Obviously, again, I don't think it's a literal book, but it's the record of who has come to faith in Jesus in God's mind. And so, we, as difficult as this picture of final judgment can be to accept, we need to understand this is a good thing, right? We want all evil and injustice to end. We want wars and famine and diseases and genocides to end one day, and God will set that right. But for us, we need to make sure that our name is written in that book of life, and that happens through faith in Jesus. And so this chapter is a call to put your faith in Jesus, and it's a call to us as God's church to tell others and call others to put their faith in Jesus. Heaven and hell are realities and real destinations, and Revelation 20 is a sobering reminder of that fact. But the book of life is open, and you can have your name recorded there through the one who is life itself, Jesus.